Good morning, everyone. I'm Sharon Francis, and I'm a business advisor for the Minority Business Assistance Center, hosted by the Columbus Urban League. Welcome to our session today on building your educational and childcare business. We have with us today two entrepreneurs that have been involved in this industry for many years, and each of them has a wealth of experience that they bring to the table. And we are so glad that they are going to be able to share with you as our entrepreneurs that are starting your business, or perhaps you've already been involved with it, but now you can glean from their experience and expertise. And so we're just thankful to have with us today Essence Marsh, Christian Village Academy, yes, and also Sharon Davis of FCI2 Academy. Without further ado, I do want to introduce to you. We're going to lead off with Essence. She's going to talk about her business, and we're just going to let her take it from here. Okay. So, again, welcome.
Well, thank you. Thank you. Hello, everybody. How are you?
Hi.
Hopefully everyone's staying cool, right? So again, I'm Essence Marsh, and I am the owner of Christian Village Academy. And I'm also the founder and owner of Creatively Coaching, which I specialize in coaching small businesses, but I emphasize in small business who wants to open childcare programs. So let's see. So just a little bit about how I got started. Probably since I was younger, actually, since I was 16 years old, I first started working at a summer program with kids. That was kind of my first job. And from there, just kind of fell in love with kids, fell in love with teaching. I grew up with my grandma, who was a foster mom. So we constantly had children coming in and out, and watching her and all that kind of stuff together just kind of drew me to education. I attended school for elementary education. That was probably back when they called it elementary education. I think now they call it early childhood, but started doing that, started doing some of my student teaching, and realized that I love the little people more. And when I say little people, you guys know in childcare world, it's that infants to 5 years old before they're going off to kindergarten. So that kind of drawn me to childcare. And I decided that I was going to, just kind of step out there and open my own center and kind of see how it panned out. And it's been going pretty well. So I opened my own center in my in-home center in March of '07. So that's kind of how I got started on the journey. So a little bit that I wanted to just kind of break down to people who were interested in opening a childcare center is just some of the things that I felt like you needed, that was required, or that was the importance of starting and launching and even operating a center. And one of the top things would be, of course, having some type of plan and vision. We all know state licensing and having the approvals and accreditations and things like that is important. Also training and certification, just making sure, because you are the owner, because you are the person that's running the center, there are certain trainings and certifications that they require us to have. And then also, if you are venturing off to actually open your own center, just really having all of your business documentations in place, and, from your business name to your EIN number and all of those things. Funding and capital. Of course, we know we need money to to make this thing work. So funding and capital, and I mean that can kind of be from any end. I know there's some people who start off in the home like I did and then transition over to a building. There's some people who go straight into the building, but there's a lot of great programs out there to look for funding and capital. Then we have your location and space. You hear realtors say it all the time: location, location, location. Location is something that is very important. Just making sure your center is in that right space to draw in the clientele and the ideal clients that you want. What else would I say? Of course, your background checks and all of the things that help keeps the little kids safe. And then passion and drive would probably be the next one. To have a passion for this and a drive, just because you're working with people's kids, so it's very important. They're little people, they're very impressionable, so you want to make sure you have a heart and passion for them. Opportunities. So the opportunities that I would say you gain from having a child care center would be, of course, educating children, and just being able to like really care and nurture for them, the relationships that you get to build with your parents and the new families as they come in and out, or even just other childcare owners that you meet. You start building relationships with them, and you guys start helping each other out. And you get to build your own program. So you're building your own school, your own program from the ground up. So you're getting to really put in what you want to see come out of it. What else? Balancing, your work life and time. A lot of times you hear that for people who work, your typical 9 to 5. So when you own your own business, you have that privilege of setting your own hours and kind of building it again the way you would want it to be built. You get to be creative, and you get to make a living. For me, I get to make a living serving people and serving the kids. So that's all opportunities that I find rewarding. Now, they asked us what would be some challenges in the field, and I'm sure some would agree with me that challenges can be the parents. Challenges could be finding funding at times. Staffing, as we all know right now, is a challenge. Marketing can be a challenge. And then some of the compliances that comes along with state licensing can be a challenge. Not anything that we can't conquer or get done, but those are some of the things that stood out to me as being challenging in the field. And wins. So for me, my wins, I would say, would be surviving the recession and the pandemic. Or still trying to survive through this pandemic is what we're doing now. Another win, and we just had this happen in our center probably last week. I was able to have 2 or 3 of past students come back in to visit us, and just like seeing them and seeing that they remember the school and remember their experience is always a win. You get around the time of the year of May, and you start to see all the kids that's graduating, and you're like, oh my gosh, they're graduating, and I had them when they were 3. So those are definitely wins for me. And then sharing my gifts and talents and things like that with other childcare workers or with my employees and things like that. I get to do what I love, and it helps create financial freedom for myself. So those would be my top wins. I'm sure I have some more, but those were the ones that kind of stood out. And then lastly, if you guys are looking for more information about childcare and starting your own programs, I put my information up there. Again, my daycare is Christian Village Academy. We have from infants to, of course, 5 years of age. And then we do also operate a school age program. We are located in the Reynoldsburg area. And then I also run a Creatively Coaching, which is a coaching network for other childcare. So it's really for up and coming childcare owners who are looking to kind of get into the industry. So all my information is up there. Feel free to reach out, and yeah, so I'm excited. Thank you.
Fantastic, fantastic. Thank you, Essence. I mean, I love hearing about your story and your passion, because obviously this is a work that has to come from the heart. Wor-
Right,
Working with children and their parents
right, right,
can be a
right.
challenge for sure, but that is fantastic. I asked in the chat for those of you who are on the call today, certainly to identify yourself and give us the name of your business. And certainly, if you have any questions, put them in the chat, and we will definitely put them out here so that Essence and Sharon can respond to them. So again, we're going to move on while you're doing that and introduce now Sharon Davis, who is the director of, as I said, FCI2 Early Learning Academy, located in the Mock Road area, Northeast Columbus. And so, Sharon, tell us what you want to know, what you want us to know about you today.
Okay, good afternoon, everyone. Good morning, everyone. It's
Hmm.
not noon yet. Um, Thank you for having me. And my story is a little different than Essence's story because I initially worked for 30 years for Borden Foods as a marketing analyst. And when I thought that things were going to be smooth sailing, I was asked to take a look at FCI2's business. And from there, I became the administrator. And so I had to, take the courses and do everything. But I found through those years, that was in 2002. So I'm coming on my 20-year anniversary this October. And I found that the business side of it was something that in the early years, childcare owners or workers, the administrative directors didn't have to worry about. But then as time went on, business became a very big part of how you operate. And so I had that business side, but as far as the actual working with children, I had to just learn that. So one of my um, big things that I did with my staff was every training they went to, I went to also. Even with the um, license that you have to get through Columbus State, I did that. But then I also just said, whatever you do, I'm going to do so that I can learn. And it is an on-the-job learning process. Parents definitely are number one. Funding, is number two, and just compliance. And I have learned through the years, working with our licensing specialists, that a lot of times you look at them coming as, oh my goodness, here they come, and they're going to find every little thing. But all the ones that we've had have been very helpful, and I credit them with all the improvements and changes that we've made in coming into compliance with what ODJFS wants. So that's another big thing. Also, because we're on Mock Road, that's an urban setting. And my philosophy from the beginning was that even though we're in an urban setting, we still can provide an suburban education for these kids. And, that's what we did. We went out and no classroom. I told the staff, you don't look for crayons and markers and paper. We're going to have all of that no matter what. You just make sure I know what you need, because a lot of times you hear centers say, well, we don't have the supplies, or, we don't, have this, that, the other. But that was one thing that we said. This education is going to be the same as these kids would get in suburban school. Their classroom is going to look just like that, and no matter what it takes. And we have gotten a lot of support. I am a NACE accredited, so that adds some extra funding. We're star quality rated three stars. And I'm also a Head Start partner with the Child Development Council, CDC-FC of Franklin County. And they have been tremendous support for our ages 3 to 5. So our kids, and the other thing that I do is, even if our child isn't in Head Start, they are not going to get a different curriculum lesson plan than anyone else. They're going to get the same thing. So just because we're not getting paid for that federally funded child doesn't mean that child's not going to get the same education. So everybody gets the same thing. Our parents are treated, parents go through a lot. And one thing that I noticed when I came on board, a lot of these parents are just kids, they're kids. And you really have to think about it, what they're going through. And so that's something that I've kept through the years too. Because now we're in a very bad thing with this gas situation, the pandemic, and everybody's afraid to bring their kids back to childcare. They're, afraid when they get there, what are they going to find? And we've just really tried to maintain that same level of protection and safety health-wise with our staff. And we are still doing reduced ratios, which a lot of centers are not. And that is a struggle too, because, we haven't opened up all of our classrooms, and we haven't, been able to, get the 127 that we were licensed for pre-pandemic, and we were averaging about 100. Now we're like about 30, 35. That's a big drop, a big drop. But, we're working to get back up, and, it is a struggle, but, you just go one day at a time, and you just know it's the kids that you're working for. They're the ones that you're really. Well, Sharon, I don't know if you want anything else. I can't hear you.
Can't hear you, Sharon.
No, yeah, we can't hear you. Now we can.
Probably because I wasn't
Aw.
unmuted.
Okay.
Forgive me. All right. Thank you for sharing with us about that, Sharon, because I think that was one of the questions that I definitely wanted to be able to present to those that are here in our webinar today. How do you deal with challenges and change? I mean, because obviously the pandemic has caused quite a hardship for a lot of our child care centers existing. And, and if you're looking to start one, as some of our people here that are in the chat have indicated, having a business plan. Not first of all, you got to know your own numbers. You got to know what it takes to operate your center. And then you have to be able to build up some reserves. So in case something like this happens, how am I going, what is the game plan? How do we pivot, Sharon, I know that you had to make some adjustments as far as staffing. You're going from 100 plus children down to 30. I mean, obviously everybody can't continue to be staffed, and then dealing with that and all of those challenges. Um, Essence, was this anything that you have experienced in your center as well? Did you have to make that kind of pivot, or what did you have to do?
Yeah, I mean, as well, I think everybody had to, like you said, make that pivot. And I think that's one of the key things in being, you know, a child care owner. A lot of times, I think Sharon said it too, we focus so much on the kids, but we didn't realize how big the business aspect of it was.
Yes.
So just really knowing from that business that you do have to be ready at a moment to pivot. For us, we still have one of our classrooms that's still shut down that we're not utilizing due to, not any kids. And for me, I don't know if it was necessary the kids, because it took a while for that part to build back up. That part has started to build up, but for us, it's staffing right now. Because for us, we're a smaller center. So she has 100 and I think you said 27, right?
License.
So licensed. So we are only licensed for 60. So, for us, people see small centers and they don't always want to gravitate to be like, hey, can we come work here? Because they want to go to the bigger centers and this and that. So like we find it really hard to find staffing. So that's one of the reasons why, one of our classrooms right now is still shut down for, staffing. So yeah, I think it's hitting in different ways. And we're all, like she said, we're all pivoting, we're all doing the best that we can, because at the end of the day, we want to still be able to provide for the kids.
Great. I think another thing that also that was stated was, having that relationship with your um, with the person that's coming from Franklin County, because often, I know that they're there's a lot of requirements that you have to meet in your centers and things like that, and being able to have that open dialogue and work, and that they know that they can trust that you are, making sure that you're trying to comply with
Mhm.
all of the requirements, because I think licensing, everybody gets scared and but you got to have relationships,
Right.
and they need to know that you're serious about, providing the best possible, for your children as well. Let's see.
Karen, can I just say one thing about licensing? When they come and they give you, the things that they say you need to correct, and you have 30 days for that corrective action. I've told, like, we've had several new licensed specialists in the years, and I've always told them the ones that came before them I really appreciated all of the things that they told us to do, because it does make a big difference. And then when you step back and think about it, it is for its safety and it's for health. And, it makes you stop and think, that, these are things that are important. And then the next specialist that may come, can see that you have improved. And that was the big thing. We were always looking to improve. So not so much to say these are the negative things we found, but we see from the next visit, you have improved. And that's the major thing. You want to, if they give you something, you want to do it, and then you want to show that it has improved.
Okay,
Mhm.
sounds good.
Yeah,
Sounds
I think
good.
we're just remembering that they're not the big bad wolf.
Right.
Yeah.
Exactly.
Everybody always thinks they're the big bad wolf. They're really not there to shut us down.
Right.
I mean, we've heard and seen the stories of things that happen in childcare. So there's
Yes.
a why to the what of what they asked us to do. Exactly.
Mhm.
Right.
Well, let's see. Charmaine Campbell asked, she said she's looking to open a new child care center and she wants to know, is it better to lease a turnkey facility or to lease a new space? Either one of you ladies?
Essence might be able to answer that a little better.
So really it's not really a right or wrong. It's really about your funding and where you are, business wise. That's the first thing. I think the biggest thing is your contract and what you negotiate. If you are in the lease, you want to make sure you're having somebody look over that and you're getting what you need and nobody's getting over on you. And then when you are going the other route as far as getting your own and it being your own property, you want to be wise again about your location, so it's not really a bad side of either or. If you have your plan, you know what you can afford, you know how many kids you're going to need to make this happen, because in spite of, and Sharon can tell you too, in spite of the pandemic, we still had things we had to pay. They didn't care that we were shut down from March to June.
Right.
So if, picking an area that's going to work for the plan, don't be so quick to jump to get a building and you're not quite ready for it when you could have did a lease. So really it's that plan, it's having that action plan that makes a difference. Because you can always tell people you own it, so you can always change it. You can be in a lease at one moment and say, okay, I'm ready to now move into a building. But what you can't do is be in a building and then say, oh, I don't want you anymore, I'm gonna go over here. That's a little more challenging.
Right.
So yeah, so.
Makes sense. Makes sense. Let's see. She said thank you. Also, Tanisha Stevens, she says she wants to get started on and own her own private Christian school, also implementing childcare. So she's looking not only at childcare, but actually an educational facility or program. All right. Anyone want to speak to that? Any words of wisdom?
Sharon, I'll let you have Head Start and the childcare, right?
And all that. I mean, when you actually get to the different programs you can be a part of, you just have to look at what's going to bring in that extra funding. So, we do get an extra percentage for being NACE accredited. And I know nowadays people are not too up on NACE because it's so much like Step Up, but we've been in it since 2005. And we get renewed every 5 years. And, it's really, to me, not a hassle, but it's worth it to have at least that extra funding in your pay. And Head Start, of course, you get paid per child, and that requires another whole set of performance standards too. But then when you look at the big picture, it's all really still based on, quality and providing quality childcare. So, if you can look at those, extra things, Head Start, NACE, and of course the star rating, because you do get extra funding for that too. Those would be good things to look at and to just, start small if you have to. But, that would be something that'll be a benefit once you get it. And then each year that you have to renew it, you know that it's not going to be a major problem to renew it. But you just need to find those extra things in addition to taking publicly funded childcare. children, which we do. And all centers don't take PFCC, but we do. And that, that's a big difference too. Private pay is expensive, and you don't find very many parents that really can afford the private pay rate. But there's other programs out there now. I think Action for Children has Rise, and that's for parents that don't qualify. And I just recently had one parent that did qualify, a single parent, one child, and that parent doesn't qualify for PFCC, but they did for Rise. And so, you just need to go through those processes, find those avenues that can help bring in that extra funding for you.
Fantastic.
And I would
Fantastic.
probably also say for them to pace themselves, because I know they said they want to have a school too, and they want to do a
Yeah.
childcare side. So just pacing yourself, because I know for us, we went out to open up a kindergarten program to add to our, our preschool, and they definitely run differently, but the same. So you want to, tackle one side first and then move to the other versus trying to tackle it all together.
All
Like
at once.
like Sharon said, start off small.
Fantastic. Do we have any other questions from our participants? This is your chance. Please ask them. Or even if you have some things that you can share from your experience. I see we have Natoria Golf. I hope I said that right. And you said that you're a family child care provider and you are 4-star rated. The name of your business, The Color of Love Child Care's Place. I like that name. Tell me where you're located, Natoria, please, if you can just put that in the chat. And what is your secret to get those 4 stars? Okay. Um, so while she's doing that, hopefully she'll be responding. And any others that, if there's anything that you want to share
I
about
just
your
can I
business.
just say something to what Essence has said about the kids coming back? That is so much a win because we love for our kids to come back. And when we see them graduating from high school or even graduating from college, I mean, some of them, have been are in college now. I mean, that is such a big, win as you in the statement that you made. And you really love to see them, and how they flourish and that they come back and remember when they were a toddler, when they were in pre-K or latchkey, and that really does a lot. And we have a lot of students in our latchkey program that the teachers come out or have come out in the past to meet our bus and to say, we want to know, where these kindergartners came from because they were on point. They knew all the assessments and, we just wanted to know what school did they come from. And that's really rewarding when, they see they came from, from our school, that we've done a good job in getting them prepared for kindergarten. And that's another reason for being in Head Start, because they're going to follow that child from age 3 to 5, and they're going to make sure that you are doing what your performance is to get them ready.
Great, great, great. Um, let's see. Charmaine said, she asked, what if you would like to open a center, but you are not looking to run the day-to-day operations? What advice would you give?
Well, I'll just say this quickly because maybe Essence would know that better than me. But as far as the way that my center is run, or our center is run, I always have had what's called an education coordinator. And this is the person, it's been different through the years, but this is a person who really has a handle on all of the licensing, on Step Up, on NACI, that can take care of, the classrooms, making sure the teachers have their lesson plans done correctly, that they're, posted. And that's something that I don't have to go through every day, every week, worrying about. And, to find somebody that can do that. And then also to have someone that can actually run your office, like for the enrollment forms and the medicals and keeping track of that, that makes a big difference, to have good people there working with you. And we've been blessed to, be able to have those people in those positions. And that's made a big difference because there's no way I could do all of that. without somebody, there that can help me, and somebody that's committed, because it does take someone that's committed to the center and to, the things that we're doing too, and that you can work together. I mean, my current education coordinator has been with me since 2009, I believe. So that's what, like 13 years,
Wow.
you know,
Mhm.
and, we butt heads a lot, but we get it done.
Fantastic. Let's see. She also asked, should your child care center have a theme? STEM, arts, Montessori, Christian. Do you see themes making a difference? That's Charmaine asking.
Um, so I think it can be, your theme can be whatever, you want it to be. I think my biggest thing always is, are you going to stick to it?
Mm,
You have a lot of people who will say, I'm a Christian, daycare. And then it's like, well, what are we doing to, like you said, show that theme or promote that side of it? Or I'm STEM. And then it's like, well, are the kids doing, more related curriculums that are in that STEM field? I think that would be my biggest thing, whatever you kind of put the name to, make sure you're holding up, because a lot of parents look at that, and you don't want to seem like it's false advertisement. Now, regardless if you don't have a theme, you can still do and have those same things embedded into your curriculum and your program. So I don't think you have to get tied down to saying, I gotta have a theme. I gotta have a theme. I think you go with what feels, what feels good, what feels genuine to what you want to do and what you want to represent. Because again, your name is on this. This is you. This is speaking to your character and who you are, so you always want to think of it from that aspect of it. So
okay, great. Thank
And
you.
I'll just say too that, we changed our name to FCI2 Early Learning Academy years back, just because we wanted to make sure parents didn't think this is just a drop-off place for babysitting, which a lot of parents do. We want you to know, we serve breakfast at 8:30. We start our circle time at 9. We start our activities at 9:30. And so you can't just be running your child in there at 10 o'clock because they've missed everything,
Hmm.
And so we really try to give support our parents with that, the ones that struggle to get there on time, because it's not just a drop off for babysitting. I mean, we're actually teaching your child. Your child has a lesson plan that's being followed. And, we talk to them about that. Yeah. Can't be afraid to
Fantastic.
tell them either, because some of
yeah,
them will look at you, but can't
don't
be afraid to tell them.
right. Don't be afraid to stand up and say, no, we do it this
Right,
time. Yeah. Because at
right.
my school, we actually have a cutoff time. So our cutoff time
Okay.
is 10 o'clock. So parents know you can't drop off after 10 o'clock unless, they have a doctor's
Appointment.
report,
Mhm.
something like that. They're allowed to still come. But yeah, and it works very well. They take it serious. I mean, some of them are speeding in there on two wheels at 9:58. Like, we gotta get them in there. But yeah, it also makes the teachers feel appreciated, believe it or not, because now they feel like teachers and they don't feel like you said, babysitters. A
Mm.
lot of these teachers go and they take their trainings and they love these kids and they really want to educate them. And we want to empower our teachers to feel like that, and one way we do that is, as administrators, we support them in standing on that rule. Like, nope, this is not a drop-off center. Like she said, they have to be here. We start school at this time. So yeah, I agree 100%.
Sharon, you made a statement about, even dealing with parents. Some of them are young parents.
Mhm.
And so do you see that role, or you having any participation in that role of helping to even support the parents to be, because often that, you're teaching the kids, you got them from, 8 to 3 or 4 or 5, whatever it is, but when they
Right.
go home, often they don't get the same level of support from their parents,
Mhm. Mhm.
are there things that you do as a center to help support and
We
help,
have, oh, I'm sorry.
grow your
Yeah,
children, I mean, grow your parents. Yeah.
uh-huh. Yes, we have, because through Head Start, we do have parent workshops. and parent meetings. And so we have different themes that the parents are given topics on, and stress and, being able to manage your, work life and your home life. And we've had, a couple, well, not a couple, but we have one tragic um, incident in our center, a parent that was murdered. And so we have been dealing with that. It's coming on to a year. And we have grief counselors came in for our staff, for the children. And we've been dealing with that, and supporting the family that, is taking over the children, and to make sure that things stay the same, that they don't change for the children. And I'll give an example of one of my parents. Parents tend to want to say, oh, if somebody hits you, you hit them back. Well, of course, that's not what we teach. We teach that you're going to talk this out with your friend, and the teacher is going to intervene and talk. And so, and you don't approach another parent either about it. And so we have had discussions with, the parents about that. And I just had a parent recently come and tell me, okay, I'm coming to tell you this because you told me don't go say it to the parent. And she says, I'm trying to be compliant. And I thanked her, yes. And that's what you do. You come to me and tell me, or you come to the teacher. You don't just approach a parent and say something. We don't do that. So, and that's all. I look at that as just being young. And that's what you do. That's what they do. That's how they handle things at home and out in the street. And so you just have to tell them, that's not how we're going to do it here. And it resonates with them. They will comply.
Great, great, great. Let's see. Someone asked also, how long does it take to begin from your business plan to the opening? For instance, how much time should you estimate, say 6 to 12 months to open? If you got this idea, you put it on plan, typically how long does it take for you to actually open a business of this nature? Essence, maybe you could speak to this since I know you coach.
Yes. Usually I tell people to account for a whole 12 months. One reason you want to go through all the seasons. And then also there's going to be timelines that other people have that's out of our control. Like even with getting licensed, there's a form and classes you have to take. So, you don't know if the classes are going to be offered that right there during that week that you're ready to take it, or you might have to wait another month before it's offered again. And then even having licensing come in, they like to come in when you are fully set up and ready to go. So, with even things being on back order, if you're ordering table and chairs and they get pushed to back order, they're not coming in till your center is fully set up and ready to go. So you have all of those things to think about. So I always tell people, let's plan for the year. Now it could happen sooner, but if you allot that year, then that's a good time frame.
Okay, great, great, great. Let's see. We got the chat is cooking, so I like that. Let's see. Da 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 da. All right. So, Nikki Deborah wanted to know that when starting a program, it would be best to purchase an existing childcare business. I think we already spoke to that. Number one, if it's already generating income, or two, if there's already a program in the place that is proven to work. Okay, so I guess you're saying that if you're going to buy, or look into an existing childcare business, what are some of the most important things that would be a factor for you to consider that existing business? If somebody could speak to that.
Financials.
Ah,
Yeah. When you talk to most people, they're going to tell you, buy an existing center. The classrooms are already there. The licensings have already been done for you. A lot of that stuff has been done. A lot of times they leave the furniture and everything. Sometimes you can even get it and they're leaving the students and the teachers and everything. So yeah, they're going to always say existing. But the biggest thing is just looking at the financials, and having, someone who that's their expertise look at the financials.
Yes.
Not, not just, and you may be good at it, but you may have been doing this a while. But again, if your area is childcare, then I'm going to assume that your area is not financial. Now, like insurance, some people may have been in another field, so maybe they know this, but
Right.
I still say it's always better to have a second eye look at it, because that's really the big thing. Sometimes people purchase existing businesses and they see that the numbers are there. They're like, oh, this building is full, and oh, this is how much I would charge, and this is how much I got to be bringing in, but you don't know what liens and loans and other things they may even have against this business that you don't know about. So you want to look at all that. You want them to be able to open up that whole world to you. But yeah.
Absolutely. And that's great advice. And even, and I will say on behalf of the Minority Business Assistance Center, that is part of the services that we can help you with as far as even evaluating. Um, if you have opportunities that you want to consider and you want a professional eye to look at it, and if there's something that we can't do, we can certainly connect you with those who are authorities in those various areas. If it's whether looking at the financials, looking at the building itself, because sometimes there may be issues with the building. Um, for example, we've had clients often that have had opportunities to acquire a space, but the price was like, this is not going to make sense with your financial plan. You're saying, but it has everything. Yes, but let's look at really what is the potential that your business operation can actually generate the revenue to support this cost. Maybe you need to kind of start small and then build up, and scale up rather than trying to jump in, and go for the gusto in the beginning and you really haven't had a chance to get your feet wet. So, we definitely do provide you that kind of support. And also, I know that we always talk about the bottom line being the dollar, the cost. And the Urban League, I'm sorry, the Minority Business Assistance Center, which is hosted here at the Urban League, we offer assistance with getting certified, even with the state of Ohio, so that you can get access to funding for small businesses that is available. We have what is called the Ohio Microloan. And if you are a minority business enterprise or a women business enterprise, you're able to get 45,000 up to $45,000 in um, loan dollars at 0% interest. And as you see with interest rates getting ready to go even higher now, um, you can get that assistance, 5 years, 0% interest. If you need more, say for instance, there was a space that you wanted to purchase, there is a women business enterprise loan. So if you're a women business, and this is for profit. So if you're nonprofit, there are other resources obviously that you would need to seek. But for profit businesses, the state has a women business enterprise loan that will fund from 45,000 to $500,000, and if you're certified at 1.5% interest, okay, and that's for 10 years, and I think if it's real estate, it's up to 15 years. So those are opportunities for funding if you need it, either for working capital, that microloan, or for facilities and equipment. You can also apply for that. So that certification, that's free. Our services, definitely, if you have not, um, looked into getting certified as a for-profit business with the state of Ohio, we encourage you to do so because that can just open up that opportunity for you. Okay. Let's see. Any other questions? Let me look here in the chat. Okay. And someone asked, of course, about whether either of you ladies are willing to be a resource or point of contact for a startup. I know, Essence, you have a coaching business, so I'm sure that this will be an opportunity perhaps for you to make connection. And Sharon, if you are, and she's always been, I know her personally.
Yeah, I've asked. I mean, I've been asked by several people who started centers over the years, and I found it really odd that a lot of people tell me people didn't want to talk to them. They didn't want to give them,
That
information.
information, how
Yeah, and
about
they
that?
they would be surprised. Well, you told me everything because I'm not really, it's not we're not competing per se against each other.
Right,
I'm there
right.
to offer you what I did and how we did it, and that you can take what you can from what I gave you.
I think that this is a lesson that we have learned. We have a number of businesses that are all um, in the same train of activity. Nevertheless, networking helps.
Mhm.
When you're able to help and bring someone else up,
Right,
it lifts us all up,
right.
And so, yeah, absolutely being able to share information and certainly your experience can be, very valuable, particularly if you're just trying to get started in this field. So we're going to put their contact information up on the screen so that you will be able to reach out to them. And so I am just putting in here, I'm typing it as we go. So we will have it for you. But we got a few more minutes, and if you have any other questions,
I just wanted to speak to something real quick that keep coming to my mind when because I know Essence is Christian based, and I'm not sure exactly, what curriculum or what she does use, but because FCI2 was a result of, faith-based organizations starting it, we have tried to keep, our theme per se as Christian activities and not so much because we do take publicly funded funds. You can't always, do, a lot,
religious.
right? But we do still try to incorporate more good morals and our children bless their food before every meal, and we've even had Somalian families that have come, and of course they bless differently, but we have adjusted and let them do their own way that they bless their food. As far as Head Start goes, they do not do regularly federal holidays, but because we're a partner, we are allowed to still celebrate different holidays that we may call them different things, not Halloween, we call it like Harvest Day, and things like that. We close for Good Friday, and we, do extend to our parents, about that experience of Good Friday and Easter Sunday. So I just, when you said that, I just wanted to, make sure that people know that even if you do get these funds, you can still, have
Fantastic.
those good morals with your children.
Absolutely. I think that's essential to building not only their educational
Hmm.
experience,
Hmm.
but its character.
Right.
Building
Hmm.
good principles and certainly even how to treat each other. You
Right.
know,
Right.
and I think that it goes a long way, especially in this day and time that we're living. Okay, let me see if anything else we have. We still got a few minutes, so we're doing good. Let's see. Da, da, da. Okay, great. Um, there was a win here that I did want to speak to. Natoria Goff. She said she's in North Columbus, and she said she worked with Action for Children, to obtain her first star, and then she went straight for 5 stars. Okay, she
Okay.
said she missed it by 2 points.
Oh,
She says she had everything completed for a 4 star and she plans to resubmit for fives in July since her CDA is verified and she gained 25 points. So anyway, but she's on fire. She's moving
good.
forward.
Good.
Yes. Good job.
So yeah, we salute you in that, and absolutely, and if there's anything that we can do to help you as you're growing your business or even considering starting your business, definitely call us. Let us know so that we can help you in any way we can. I am going to put up the contact information for Essence and for Sharon in the chat right now. If I can do this so that everyone can see it, we want you to take advantage of the sage wisdom that these ladies have. Okay, can everybody see that? There we
Mhm.
go. So I hope I put it down right. Dave, thank you again for participating.
Thank
Great.
you.
Everybody have a great afternoon.
You
Thank you.